at all this game, no way would this happen.
Well, I mean, learning how to play defense with elves is a difficult thing. Like, you cannot stand up to a lot of teams. Like, my team is one you can kind of stand up to, but still, I've got the skills. So, I can still kind of outclub you.
Part of it is anti-rules max money.
Of course.
Shenanigans. Part of it is pro elf teams.
Oh, young level up.
Pro elf teams are very squishy at the very beginning, but as soon as you start getting levels and you start putting dodge on everybody, you become just as hard to put down as he is, and you have all the cute passy abilities and the 4 agility, so your team becomes really.
Wait,
Your Amazons. Oh,
would you put block?
It gets worse, Valkana. It gets worse.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
What gets
Worse than the 1 agility?
I rolled an 11 on the level up, so I can give an agility to my line woman.
You, sir, are a massive dick monster.
Yeah, okay.
Truth.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to give people shit anymore.
Strength, agility.
Well,
I just roll all stat ups. It's cool. I've got an elf Amazon team. I'd also like to point out. Remember that conversation we had earlier about Amazons? Yeah.
Yes.
Example A, right here. This game.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do? I have enough to actually buy another lineman. Do I say screw it?
No.
Not linemen. Save for good players that you really want to have on your team.
Save for a catcher.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. I have the 2 catchers, the 2 blitzers, and the thrower. What else do I need?
You need 4 catchers. Every catcher that you add to a pro elf team is one more person that he's got to spend guys trying to cover in the backfield. Once you get up to 4 catchers, or at least 3, it becomes a lot harder for him to cover them all and try to punch one.
Oh,
and it makes
right.
it a lot easier for you to score, because instead of having linemen back there or blitzers that can catch the ball but they need a reroll, you've got a whole mess of guys that have nerves of steel and can catch it and have their own free reroll to catch the ball.
Oh, right, yeah.
And also,
these guys have 3 strength, so they're pretty much average
they're
to
not
everybody.
They're not like other catchers on other teams that have 2 strength, so by taking 4 catchers, you're gimping yourself.
And another thing, when you have that many catchers, he's going to have to start marking them, defenders will have to start marking them with a lot of times only one guy. You can use catchers to dodge out and punch other catchers free.
Huh.
And also, as well, with 4 catchers, and my high elf team's getting to the point now where I could probably start demonstrating it in the next few games, where your catchers can actually start specializing. I'm not a big believer in turning catchers into even greater scoring threats on high elves, or even pro elves, because they're already really good at scoring with catch and nerves of steel and all that. You can put dodge on them for defensive purposes, sure, that's fine.
Yeah, if you don't take dodge on them for skill up, you're crazy.
Well, see, I take block usually, and I take guard on doubles, because having them, you know, being able to be blitzed out of multiple places and whatnot is great fun. But more to the point, you can actually start building your catches to be defensive pieces. You give them things like tackle, you give them strip ball, you give them obviously block or wrestle, your preference.
So making them almost like a blitzer then.
Yes, they become another blitzer, but with an extra movement, because they're movement 8 blitzers, and especially on pro elves, they've got the same armor. They're both armor 7. Or the blitzers on the pro elves actually get +1. Blitzers are 8 on the pro elves, right? I never mind. Well, it doesn't matter. The same applies for high elves.
No,
then.
blitzers are 7 on pro elves.
If you rolled, for this one, if you rolled doubles, but also got, I don't know if you can. I don't know how the dice work, but if you get plus movement, plus armor value, or doubles to pick anything, which would you take?
Guard.
Doubles.
Guard.
What are we talking about?
You would give up plus movement.
Give me a second. While this is going on, if anyone in the stream has any questions about that game or these teams or learning Blood Bowl in general, go ahead and start typing them, because we've actually been getting a lot of people who have been learning from this, and so answering questions is probably helpful to everyone here.
Oh, there's no question. It's, how could somebody play that bad defense? I'm not.
You played fine.
It was part of it. There was a couple of things that you could have done maybe a little bit better. You made him roll a lot of dice. part of it is that he got a little luckier than you in terms of knockouts. Like, you got a little lucky
Yeah.
in the beginning with knockouts, but then he caught up and passed you in terms of how many guys he had on the pitch.
Yeah.
And when he has the defensive ability of dodge on all of his guys, that lowers the chance that you can knock him on the ground. And then he gets more guys on the pitch than you, then that's like a double advantage, and that's really hard to deal with. You were in a really bad spot there. I'm not going to say none of us could have dealt with that, but it would have been probably a 60-40 chance of fake scoring on any of us playing that team. The losing with the blitz at the end is completely not your fault, but the giving up the touchdown, you were just not in a great spot, and the odds were against you. If you could have pulled something out and stopped him, that's cool, that's awesome, but the more likely than not, he was going to score on anybody that was playing that team or playing your team in that situation. It's just it was an uphill battle. And then to add on top of it that you haven't been playing very long, and there's a few things that you could have done a little bit better, but there wasn't any like giant, oh my god, what the hell were you thinking there moments, other than like the blitz on his thrower was a bit of a mistake, but at that point in time it was already kind of tits up. So like you didn't make any huge mistake that you should get down on yourself. You just had a couple of knockouts go against you, and that's just the dice do that sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes your guys will live, sometimes your guys will get knocked out, and you just have to try to deal with it. And you did a pretty good job. I wouldn't get down on yourself.
I'm not down on myself. I just know that I need to understand.
A lot of it's
I'm
just
going to say
practice.
angles and
Okay, well,
assists,
the real question
even
is...
though I'm getting better on assist, because you guys saw that in this game, or at
Yeah, I was
least-
about to say, the real question with this is, do you feel that after that game, you have a better understanding of what you need to do?
to a certain extent. I mean, each game the situation is game by game.
Yeah.
Exactly, and turn by turn.
I know that last turn, or the one before you scored, I messed up by not covering your catcher and going for glory or whatever by trying to go after the thrower. I should have covered up the catcher first. And that's something I won't do again. So I did learn something, at least from the end there. As far as
that's
anything
perfectly good.
else in the middle, like turns 9 through 14 or something, I don't know if I would have done too much differently. Well, that's not true. I know in previous games I would have attacked your thrower and just gone all in your backfield, which maybe would have made you score sooner, or maybe would have made you have the ability to foul my players or destroy my team. But this game I actually played more defensive to try to hold you off. I just didn't do the right move at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what you were trying to work towards there is a stronger way of defending against the pass, and it's something that once you get down, it's definitely going to be better than trying to plow in and take me out. We have a good question in the chat, by the way. Someone was asking, in general, how should an average movement allowance team like Orcs or Humans beat a high movement allowance team like Elves or Skaven?
Play me.
Absolutely under no circumstances let them get around you.
Yeah.
Do not rush all your players up and tie yourself up. With a team like that, like for instance Orcs and Humans as well, because you've got the blitzers that are going to have guard as they get developed, you've got the ogre most likely, you're going to have the strength advantage against a team like Elves or Skaven, nominally. So don't rush in and tie your players up. Just block their scoring threats as they come through, knock them down, and do not let them get width on you. Try and herd them over towards one sideline so that they have to go around you, and keep, like for instance with the Orcs or the Humans, keep a blitzer free and back a few squares so that there is nowhere they can go that you can't get to them.
Yeah, and it's basically just tackle zone spread. If you have like a good net where if they have to try and dodge past you into a tackle zone, it's even more riskier to get past.
Okay, but wouldn't most slow-moving teams not even try to bring somebody into the backfield to attempt a pass?
No,
Or
so
are you
I'm
talking like on
defending
turn
as
7 or 8?
no,
they might
as
try
in defending if you're the slower team defending against a faster moving team, because once you get tied up with these high strength, low agi, low movement teams, once you get tied up, the faster team will just dodge someone through and run through, and then you've got to, like for instance, if you're playing against Skaven with Orc, a gutter runner will actually move further in one turn, assuming they're standing side by side. A gutter runner without GFIs can actually move further than you can with GFIs with any Orc piece. So once he gets around you, you can't stop him. There is absolutely no way you can stop him. You've got no physical way of keeping up with him. So you need to make sure that he never gets around, and the idea of a safety becomes very important as well, which is what I was touching on with the Blitzer or whoever it is. You take your highest movement piece, preferably, say, in the instance of Orcs, an Orc Blitzer with tackle, or Mighty Blow if you don't have tackle, because at least then he's got a better chance of putting the player down when he gets a hold of him, and actually tags him, so that he can at least go one-on-one with the scoring threat and try and knock that ball free if they try to make a run for it.
Also,
Okay, I misheard that from the beginning. I was seeing it from the other direction. That's why I missed that. Sorry.
Also in a situation where it actually is Skaven versus Orcs, if you put a Black Orc at the end of the cage, so it's like close to the sideline, it's actually harder for them to break through on the sides, because it's what at most they would get, unless they've got guard, is a 1 die block against a Black Orc. Just by the strength difference alone.
It's a
Well,
risk
that's
though, because
basically-
if they put an assist and blitz him, they can surf his ass.
Also,
Yeah.
I'd like
what?
to say that
Not on the
it's
sideline,
possible
I mean,
for
like,
an Orc
on the-
team to catch up to a gutter runner by throw teammate. Just putting that out there.
No,
They have-
no one is taking the troll or the goblin, or I will reach through the internet
Huh.
and slap them.
Hey,
Have
oh,
will.
oh,
You're
actually,
a
I'm
dead man
correct.
as soon as I get over to Murica.
No.
It's America. You've already threatened my freaking my Wintern gunner. You can't make me any more scared than that.
Oh, here's a good question for you.
Plus- I think
it's
Totally
next handle.
unrelated conversation. The game we played earlier, we played the humans, and I
Mhm.
had a Blitzer level up.
Okay.
Regular straight roll,
Okay.
guard, or dodge.
On a human blitzer,
Yeah.
I
How
would
much
say
dodge do I have on this team?
I would say dodge. I know you've already got 2 guard players on that team. I can actually load up that team real quick so people can help in this decision. Give me a second.
Yeah, I have the ogre with guard and one blitzer with guard. Yeah.
Okay, that being said then, I want to throw another one out for you.
Okay.
If you've got 2 blitzers with levels already, I would
Uh-huh.
consider Mighty Blow. Just because your blitzers are slow to level up, so Mighty Blow gives them a better chance of inflicting casualties, which means they're faster to level up. And it would be a good thing for the team as well to have a kill piece.
Here is the team.
I would suggest
Just-
slightly differently.
Summing it up, he's got
Same.
a thrower with accurate. He's got an ogre who has guard. He's got 1 blitzer who has guard. And he's got a kick lineman. And those are his level ups. He's got 4 blitzers, an ogre, and a thrower, and a bunch of linemen.
I would go along the same lines as what Rev is saying and make a kill piece, but I would not start with Mighty Blow. I would go with tackle first, and then
That
take
would
Mighty
be
Blow.
the other. I was going
Yeah.
to say that is the other option.
I
There,
would-
you have no tackle, so either take the tackle, and you're primarily at your team value. The only guys with dodge, barring Amazons, are going to be a couple of positionals who are going to
But
be
those
low
are
strength,
important positionals.
or they're going to be stunty guys who are going to get like skinks, like halflings,
Which
like
will get
goblins.
murdered.
The guys
Yeah.
that you're going to get a Mighty Blow against anyway by virtue of stunty,
Right.
or gunners with low armor value.
Plus,
So,
plus the tackle works even if you don't punch them. Like if you're playing against pro elves or Amazons or something like that, you could punch one guy and then follow up and stand next to another guy, or blitz and continue moving and stand next to another guy. And that tackle standing next to them makes it so they don't get to use their dodge skill. So it's like doubly good.
Yeah,
Alright.
either
It works.
tackle or strip
It works
ball.
both ways, by the way, Volcana. The idea that tackle greater than mighty blow because you can't hurt them if you can't drop them. If you knock them down and they're faster than you with tackle, and you don't hurt them, and it is like, for instance, like the safety piece argument that we were having, or that we were discussing before, the idea that you want someone in the back, he can just get back up and keep moving next turn. So it's much of a muchness. Mighty blow is always going to work when you punch someone. Tackle will only have an effect against someone with dodge. So there's no real right or wrong answer when you're comparing the two, unless it comes down to team composition or you're playing in a league where you know what your next matchup is. In that case, there could be a right or wrong answer.
My only conjecture to that is that I've had lots, and that's small sample size, but I personally have had multiple games where I'm screaming to myself, God, I wish I had a guy with fucking tackle. I've never really freaked out about, man, I wish I had a mighty blow guy, because like it's a one better chance to knock him out, but it's really not increasing your odds to some ridiculous amount.
No, correct, but it's each way at this point. And once again,
Yeah,
mighty blow, it's not. Yeah, I mean, at no point do you go, oh, mighty blow. If I had mighty blow there, I would have injured him. Like, oh, if only I had mighty blow. But at the same time, he's going to roll more Kaz, and it's going to be good for his development as well. That's the other argument.
We've got another level up question in the chat. So it seems like for the blitzer, things like tackle, mighty blow are both good. I think dodge is good. There's a lot of good choices, and they're all pretty even.
Yeah. It's
The next question is someone's asking, his Chaos Dwarf Minotaur level up in rolled normals? What is a good first skill on Chaos Dwarf Minotaur?
And there are two good
Break
ones.
tackle.
Break tackle.
I would, those are the two which are coming up as guard and break tackle. I would tend to say break tackle.
Yeah,
For
break tackle would
Chorfs?
definitely be the first one, and then
Yes.
guard.
For Chorfs, I would take guard. That's like one of the few times that I would
Well,
take guard.
In
Because
theory, I'm hoping that you're giving a lot of your Chaos Dwarfs guard already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you've
what I would
got
assume as well.
6 guys there with strength access on regulars, and the Minotaur doesn't like to move without blitzing. Okay, so moving his guard around is going to be harder. So I would say break tackle simply because his primary job is going to be blitzing. He wants to blitz because he's got the horns, he's got the wild animal, and
He's
no
got the
one's going to want to
movement.
stand next to him.
Does he come with
Then-
Jug?
No.
No.
Then blocking is the same as blitzing. You don't get an added benefit. So
Yes, but
if-
no one's
in
going
order-
to stand next to him, and
then
he
he
has
doesn't
the
need
horns.
break tackle.
But he's got the movement though, so it makes sense that him or the body. What am I thinking of? The bull centaurs would be the blitzers, so giving him break tackle is a good thing.
He will have people stand next to him, but it's not going to be the person you're going to want to punch either, is the point I'm making. So he will need break tackle for movement around, and because he has movement, but not a lot of it. He's still fast, but not, fast enough to run around tackle zones. So having him be able to cut across the corner of someone's tackle zone with that break tackle to get into position, I would say is more valuable. If you happen, when he gets his second level up, if it's another normal, guard, or juggernaut, is perfectly acceptable. But I think, getting that strength 6 frenzy wild animal piece to where he needs to be is probably my pick.
Honestly,
Yeah.
in that situation, I would consider Juggernaut instead of either of them.
I don't know. I'd personally go break tackle, juggernaut, then guard as a progression.
Yeah, you could Juggernaut would be cool, but it is his first level up as well. He's gonna get probably 1 or 2 more easy level ups, considering once he gets break tackle, he's gonna get all the blitzing duty. So he's gonna have plenty of options or plenty of chances to inflict casualties and level up, and then he has a chance at rolling doubles, where he can pick up block rather than Juggernaut. If it was,
Yeah.
say, his 3rd or 4th level up, and he had neither block nor Juggernaut, I would strongly consider picking up Juggernaut at that point as a pseudo block.
I thought the bullseye shorts are supposed to be the blitzers.
They can be, but if you've got a Minotaur, you'd be using the Minotaur just because he's got
Yeah.
Frenzy, so he gets a double shot.
Generally speaking, yes. If you take the Minotaur, you're probably going to take your Bull Centaurs down the line of ball carriers more than the Bull Centaurs, because
My
the
only
Minotaur is a better blitzer.
my only concern there, and like I get your reasoning, and I probably agree with you. I would just give a little word of caution as a guy who absolutely loves his Croxagore, and loves the fact that he has break tackle. It is so fucking heartbreaking to have the 2+ roll to use him, the 2+ roll to use the break tackle, and to fail either one of those because you just wasted your blitz, and if you fail the wrong one, lost your turn. And he's got loner, so you reroll isn't really a safe option.
Yeah.
Correct, absolutely.
That's only my only caveat. Like he's probably 100% right that break tackle is the best option, but just go in with your eyes open that there is a serious risk involved with using that.
Yeah, that's
It'd
always
probably be
the
one of
risk
the
you
last
take
things you
with
do in the turn.
using the big guy as
Right.
your dedicated blitzer. It's a decision you've probably already made anyway at this point.
Right,
So
but my
you can-
point is, if you fail a wild animal, like if you fail his negatrait, you don't lose your turn. If you fail you're adding a third roll in addition to the block and the negatrait. You're adding a third roll, and it's a second roll where if you fail it, your turn's over,
Oh, absolutely.
and your guy gets pasted.
Absolutely. No question. No
that being
question
said, I
about
gotta
it.
go get my clothes out of the dryer, so I'll be back in a minute.
Well, any other questions?
Sure, for me again, and sorry to
Cool.
keep this on me, but
It's okay.
the same human team.
hmm
I, once again, always thought positionals, because of my Wood Elf teams that I played, were just like, because a Wood Elf lineman is just as good as any other Wood Elf. I have 200, this is the exact same human team. I have 220 in my treasury. I have 5 linemen, 4 blitzers, an ogre, and a thrower. Should
catches.
I now get a catcher and fire the lineman that has no SPP at all?
With a human team, I would personally shoot for 12 players total.
Yeah, keeping
So you cut-
12 players isn't bad at all.
Yep, I would cut as many linemen as you need to fill out your positional roster. So you've got your 4 blitzers, your thrower, 2 catchers, and the ogre.
He's currently at 11 players with 4 blitzers, an ogre, and a thrower, and no catchers.
Okay, well, I would add the
Right.
next catcher in. In fact, at this point, you can afford to add both catchers in and cut the 0 SPP lineman. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I have the only guy I have out on my 11 right now is my kick lineman.
Yeah, I injured his kick lineman. He's got to miss
Yeah.
next.
And that's fine. Okay, so get both the catchers, even at
Yes, I
strength
would.
2, that doesn't hurt much.
You've
No.
got
we
guard
already
already.
got the ogre.
You've got the ogre for strength advantage there. You've got guard around the place. I don't see that having 2 strength 2 pieces on the field will hurt you, especially when it doubles your scoring threats. The human catchers are good pieces. They're not the best catchers because they are strength
They're
2.
to strength, yeah.
But that being said, they are still your best scoring threat. So, and especially as you said, you like to play the game where at any point you can bust out a length of the field play. So having the 2 catches definitely opens up those options. And you may find as well that you like them more than the Pro Elves once they get a little bit developed, because you've got that strength advantage where if you ended up in the same situation you were in before against Fake, where you were down a few players, you wouldn't feel as outnumbered because you'd find those easy 2 dice blocks with the ogre and with the blitzers standing around with their guard. You'd actually, it feels less claustrophobic because you've got the strength advantage. So like you could punch someone down with the ogre and stand the ogre next to someone else instead of having to run a 3rd player over there just to get parity against 2-on-2.
Okay. And here's an interesting question then. 2 catchers. Uh, don't know if I should ask here, but I'm going to. I need a book and a food.
Oh, this is a
Anybody
fine
have
place
good-
to ask.
Oh yeah, no, this is good.
This is a great place to ask those kind of questions. People, we need books and food. You can see the team on the stream screen. He has 2 new players he needs to add. And I'll let stream type that. The hamburger games is good.
Time to dill.
A time to dill is a good one.
Ooh, I like that.
I'll
Yeah, I
get to
can't
the-
alt-tab out
Tomorrow
and look
never
at screen.
dines.
Tomorrow Never Dines isn't bad. Do you have a
What are we
grape expectations yet?
No, I don't have great. Oh, I have cake expectations.
Oh, you have cake expectations. Okay.
Wait, what's the thing? What now?
Food and books.
Yeah, it's called Book Club Food. If you want to look it up in the game.
I've got it on the stream window up right now, so.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on, I got one. The Great Raspberry.
The Great Raspberry is good.
Especially since that movie just came out.
The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get to the.
Yeah, the Great Grapesby.
I will get to
instead,
Panda's
but-
question in a second while we're coming up with these names. While people are coming up with names, we can still suggest them and type them as this is going on. 50 Shades of Grain is a good one. The Scarlet Lettuce, also good.
50 Shades of Grey, that's one of the catchers. Thank you, whoever.
50 Shades of Grain. That was Papa Mojo 69. Now we have a question from Panda, the hard question. For the Hadwick Demo Bowl, he's playing Halflings. Any word of advice?
Make sure your team value
where is
very, very
Metroid?
low.
Metroid is the guy we need to ask, but while he's not around, I have to ask you, are you playing your Halflings at 600 team value? And you can just answer in chat. The Catcher Eating Rye is not bad. Lord of the Rice.
Oh, the catcher.
The Catcher
Rye.
Eating Rye.
That works great for a catcher.
Or,
Thank you
I think
to
it's-
that person.
That's once again Papa Mojo. He wins.
Okay, you are not playing Halflings. You are playing Halflings at 800 TV.
So that's 2 treemen and what? A full roster of halflings?
That is 2 tree men, a full roster of Halflings, and more than 1 reroll.
You're doing it wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not no chef. Well, the chefs are 100 for him, so he can get his chef. He's not going to have Deep Root to play with.
War and Peas.
Warrened Peas. 3 rerolls, 1 apothecary, 2 trees, and a bunch of halflings. And yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
names can stop. I got the 2 for the catchers. Thank you
No, but it's
to
fun.
the same guy. Well, I'm just saying, 50 Shades of Green
Thanks,
and
guys.
Catcher Eating Rye work perfect for catchers.
basically with halflings, there's a few ways to do it. The thing is that halflings have access to one of the most ridiculous inducements in the game for super cheap, which is the halfling chef. And you want to take advantage of that at the very least. So
Cough, broken cough.
you want to keep your team value at 900 at most because that inducement is so good. And realistically, a little bit below 900 because some teams start at less than 1,000 TV, like Orcs start at 990. There's a bunch of other teams that do that.
Not to mention,
The
as you
advantage-
actually win your games, you'll get bloody fame, which will increase your TV.
Yeah.
You want to stay.
First of all, you're not gonna have to worry about winning games as halflings. Second of all,
Don't say that.
Second of all, you want to do the 600 thing so that you can get Deep Root Strong Branch. He is the best thing that a halfling team can have, and to not have him is like cutting yourself off at the knees.
Yeah, basically what we're getting at is the ways that you can play halflings. One of them is the one that I'm sure Metroid would recommend. He's the guy who's almost always the halfling player when I have these streams. He recommends starting with 600 TV, which is 1 reroll, no apothecary, 11 halflings, I think. And that means you exactly, against a 1000 TV team, you exactly get Deeproot Strong Branch and your chef. That is a very popular way of doing it. I'm going to BB Tactics. We're going to take a look and see what they suggest too. because that's basically the one I have most experience with.
Yeah, the other option to play halflings, and I think this is, I want to say that it is the inferior way to do it, but the other option is to try and play at team value parity. At least to begin with, the idea that you just cram a heap of extra halflings in there, and you just win through a war of attrition. Your halflings tie everything up all over the place, and your trees just keep punching them, and it doesn't matter how many halflings they kill, they can't reduce your numbers on the pitch. But at that point, you're not really playing to your strengths. You need that chef is great because it essentially gives you free rerolls instead of taking spread. You're not going to spend.
Yeah,
rerolls,
the synergy is that you start with one reroll, but you're expecting that your halfling chef is going to steal some. On average, he's going to steal 1.5 rerolls.
And the double bonus to that is that
You're stealing them from them, which is brutal.
Yeah, you're getting rerolls for yourself, which is great, but you really honestly don't give a shit about that. It's that the sooner you knock the other team to 0 rerolls, the sooner their turns start ending early, and they can't take all the opportunities to punch your guys, to move to punch your guys, and to just generally piss you off if their turns are ending early.
I would say that regardless of what you do with your halflings, make sure that you at least are down enough on TV that you can get the halfling chef every game because he's so brutal. If you decide you don't like playing the 600 TV team, I would recommend being in the 850 or so range early on and have like maybe some backup halflings because halflings will die. And basically the way you're going to play is your trees are going to club things. Your trees are very good at that. They will get up in the line, they will club things, and then they'll basically be done for the half after a couple of turns because their trees, they have movement too. And you're going to have a very weak, slow-moving cage that can dodge really, really well.
But not dodge anywhere far enough away because
but never really far enough away. You can be obnoxious with halflings by putting tackle zones on people, but you're never running away from. I mean, even the really slow teams like Nurgle can keep up with you because you don't have that much movement.
The best chance you'd have of outrunning them would be to dodge everything through somehow, and then somehow put get your ball to the other side of their line, and then just put a heap of halflings in the way so they have to dodge back through. But that's a high risk for minimal return. So yeah, you stay at least 100 TV below your target, and don't be afraid to cut halflings either. If your next matchup means you're going in without either deep root, if that's the path you plan to take, like the 400 TV below, or you plan to go, just the halfling chef, do not be afraid to cut halflings to get those inducements. Especially obviously the 0 SPP halflings, which will be around, and you will still have cash to spare to rebuy them next week if you need to.
If you are set on the not going 600 TV, your basic game plan is get the halfling chef every game at the very least. It's brutal. And then you're clubbing people with your tree man and being dodgy with your halflings. You can't really play a passing game. You can't really outrun people, but you can dodge really well.
Also, I'd like to throw out there that I can't think of a good argument to have an apothecary for your first game with halflings because you don't give a shit about them. If they die, you don't care. If they have stats down, you don't care. They're super easy to replace.
Well, the idea behind the Apo is just to make sure that nothing really hideous happens to a tree man somehow, I assume, which, I mean, it's really hard to actually do anything nasty to a tree man.
The strength 6, AV10, the chance of the tree going down is fairly minimal. You're not going to surf him, you stand firm. About the worst thing that's going to happen to him is eating a rock. That's
right.
Most likely where the bad thing is going to happen, or a bloodthirster blitzes him.
So what I might recommend is get your team value to about 850 or so. consider getting rid of the Apothecary, and if you don't want to play the 600 TV team, tack on more Halflings, because you're going to lose them. They're going to die, and they will get injured. And basically the way you're going to play is you're going to surround the ball with 1 million Halflings and have this huge cage of little guys waddling up the field and making dodges when they need to. And when things get desperate, throw a Halfling down the pitch. Now, you can always do it the Metroid way, which is basically play for the one-turn touchdown. Like, play to make the one-turn touchdown as often as possible. That's not how you spell crepe, but okay.
How do you spell crepe?
C-R-E-P-E.
Yep. The that being said as well, the fact that you've already submitted your team doesn't matter. Once the league has been created, until your first game is played, you can essentially cut and rebuy players and drop rerolls and apothecaries and whatever else you want. Without it will give you the cash back, so you can do that. No, it doesn't. I'm not sure how it works if there's a minimum. If there is a minimum TV and then you go below that, I'm not sure you'll actually get the cash back after that. Like say for instance, it says you need a minimum TV of 800 to apply, and then you were to cut players to take them below that 800. I'm not sure to give you the cash back.
Well, that's not a problem one way or another. Like, the minimum team value in this league is 500.
Okay, no worries then. So yeah, you can absolutely...
Yeah, I think that's what I set the move to.
You can reorganize your team over and over again until that first match is played at no cost to you.
Because if we didn't set it at 5, the Halflings couldn't get in.
Yep. So, but if that goes into future matches as well, some leagues will actually make you take 1,000 TV team in. You can take the team in and then just cut the players beforehand, and if you don't get the cash back, you don't get the cash back, because they will... Some leagues will go, well, that's not really fair that you can get the full roster you want and still have all that cash sitting there.
They're stupid.
I personally don't see it as a problem, but depending on who's running the league, that's another way you can attack it as well.
In case you want to see it, on the screen right now this is Metroid's preferred method of playing Halflings. This is how he makes his team. And don't get me wrong, I have not seen any really successful Halfling players, but he's the player I've seen who just keeps pounding away with Halflings.
I have a goal next week.
You have a goal next week.
Yeah, I was serious when Knor said that blah something about it's suicide or it's crazy or nobody does play matchmaking with Halflings and Nagroth. I'm going to make an Nagroth Halfling team, and I'm going to get it to TV of some of his teams, and I'm going to try to spin. I've never tried to spin against him before, but I'm going to try to hit him with a Halfling team just to watch him go apeshit.
The BB roster they suggest for Halflings, if you actually want to play on level, which I don't recommend, is actually 2 Treemen, 13 Halflings, 3 rerolls, an Apothecary, and then you still have money left for 8 Fan Factor, 3 cheerleaders, and 3 assistant coaches. I don't say I'd recommend that. I would... If you want my recommendation, if you wanted to do something like that, I would say 2 Treemen, 13 Halflings, 3 rerolls, and an Apo, and pitch that whole Fan Factor, cheerleaders, assistant coaches garbage out of the way, and induce the chef.
I think I see. I thought that was with the chef.
No.
No, that's at maximum TV. That's the full 1,000 TV there.
Well, if you're going to play at TV value, though, you're not going to hit anybody that's over you, so you're not going to get inducements. So I think that's the reasoning behind it.
If you're doing a spinning, if you're spinning, that's probably an okay way to start with Halflings, because, I mean, if you're going to have to play against people who are at your TV, you may as well do that, but that would be my recommendation if you don't like the 600 TV team, is basically take the link I just gave you to the BB Tactics Halfling starting roster and throw out that Fan Factor, cheerleaders, and assistant coaches. And just induce the Halfling chef every game. So that would be 13 Halflings, 2 Treemen, 3 rerolls, and an Apothecary. So you have 15 players, you have a bunch of backups for when your Halflings inevitably get taken off the pitch. And you still get to steal stuff. Now, the 3 rerolls plus the Halfling Chef is kind of overkill, but you don't get much really amazing for your inducement money beyond the 100 and the 400 breakpoints. So, you know.
Everything else is basically just it's
Yeah.
It's deep rule to go home as far as I'm concerned. That thing is disgusting. I'm not even going to dignify it by calling it an actual player. It's a thing, and it shouldn't be allowed on the pitch. To get something else that good on the pitch, it usually needs to be a secret weapon like the Death Roller.
But he's better. Scones. So good.
Light.
He's a Death Roller, but he's not a secret weapon.
Are you shot, or you want to do one more?
No, that is totally going to be my last game for the night.
Okay.
So, any other questions people have? Because if not, I'm going to kill the stream unless there's something people really want answered. Then I'll just wait a sec to see if anything pops up. But in any case, one way or another, thanks for watching. The usual.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate it.
hope it helped, and we always love having new players. And speaking of always loving new players, hit up that information down below the stream to join the league. I recommend you join. We like new players, we help them out, we have fun, and all the information is down below. And if you want to know whenever I go live, click the follow button and you'll receive an email whenever I do. Will we get to see if any of those names are used? He already made it with a couple of the names people recommended for the catchers. Let me see which ones you picked. He used 50 Shades of Grain and the Catcher Eating Rye. So, there you go. But I'm going to call it a night, so again, click the follow button if you want to know when I go live, and click on the picture down below the stream to join these leagues, and we'd love to have you. And that's all I got, so see you guys next time.
Thanks again, guys.
That's all, folks.
Everybody that was in the chat, I appreciate all the help and all the information.
Alright guys, see you later.